YouTubers and cinephiles, welcome back to another edition of Nerd with me, John Ricky. Today we're going to be talking about a young film series, a unique film series that is also the offshoot of a classic film series. We're going to be talking about the Creed movies, starring Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and of course, Sylvester Stallone as Rocky. Now, the Rocky series has been going on since the 70s, so 40 plus years. If you don't know it by now, where the hell have you been? Have you been on Mars? 6 movies over that span, and each of them are varying degrees of greatness, except for 5.
Hey, there goes Balboa! That was just another bump in the neighborhood! I didn't want this!
No. Stop it. And of course it ended with the last one coming out in 2006, which was great. So I gotta tell you, when I first started hearing about a Creed film being greenlit, my thoughts were...
He might win a few fights, but a Rocky Balboa he'll never be.
No. He's no Rocky Balboa, let's face it. There's only one Balboa. Now, Balboa was a true people's champion.
I'm almost sure this actually started off with a joke, you know? It's like, oh yeah, what are we gonna do, follow Creed's son? It's like, that's the only way you can really continue. Well, someone took up that offer, and his name is Ryan Coogler, a young, very talented director, and the crazy thing is that he's the one who baited Sylvester Stallone to take it on, because Sylvester Stallone didn't want to do it, but he convinced him. And with that, we got a great film in 2015's Creed. Wow, man, I have to say, when I first saw this, I was still skeptical going into it, and it exceeded my expectations by leaps and bounds. Michael B. Jordan, who is a super uber talented actor before this, I mean, he steals the show. But you know who really stole the show was Sylvester Stallone.
Everything I got is moved on, and I'm here. But you know what? It's okay. Because I said to myself, if I break, if I'm hurt, whatever, I ain't gonna fix it.
A lot of people forget that Stallone was nominated for Best Actor for Rocky. And of course, with this one, he gets put into the Mickey role, and he gets nominated again for Best Supporting Actor. He is incredible in this film. You love him. And of course, Tessa Thompson kills it in this film. She is great. This is what put her on the map to me, even though I've seen her in quite a few other things. Like, man, she's not only beautiful, she is talented as hell. Everything works perfectly in here. The fight scenes, the drama, you really feel that this is an underdog story. This is about discovering who you are, trying to figure out who you want to be, and legacy.
What matters is what you leave in that ring and what you take back with you. You know what that is? Pride, and knowing that you did your best, and you're doing it for yourself. Not for me, not your father's memory, but for you.
So many themes that work so cohesively, so well. I'm just amazed at the filmmaking ability of this young Ryan Coogler, because you get everything. You get heart, you get drama, you even get a bit of comedy, and some great action scenes in there, all culminating in this whole mastery of film and storytelling, as well as making a 40-year-old franchise seem fresh and new, even though it's really its own franchise by itself. I mean, the music in this film, both the orchestral and the music that was put in there with the hip-hop sound, it melds so well with the spirit of the Rocky series that came before it, as well as bringing that new age into it. You're like, it works effortlessly. Definitely one of the best movies that came out that year. It should have been nominated for Best Picture. And like most of the other films, you come out of that theater feeling like, you just can't help it, man. It's infectious. And on that note, Creed 2015 gets a big resounding
I'll be back.
Yeah, man, you just felt like, wow, that was great. That was a great one movie. It feels like it was just complete. And it's like, where do you go from there? And now here we are with Creed 2. I don't know why, even though like Creed was amazing, that this sequel, I mean, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was just like,
I swear to God, I do not need this right now, okay?
Cresswell.
It's all in the reflexes.
Who's the man? Huh? Who's the man? Wait till I get another plane. I'm lining all your friends up right beside you.
Did that go the way you thought it was gonna go? Nope.
Hey, motherfucker.
it was that trailer, man. You know, it's like, it looked good, it looked interesting, but once they showed the Drago insignia, I was just like, really? You really had to go there, Stallone? Really? I mean, I'm looking at that, having flashbacks of Rocky 5, you know? I mean, the worst one in this series, or even the corniness of Rocky 4, just because. But for some reason, I actually like Rocky 4, but yeah. And of course, they brought Dolph Lundgren back as Ivan Drago. Now his son is fighting Creed, and you're like, okay, all right, let's see what they do. I mean, are they gonna be like how Creed was, which it was raw, it was deep, you know, it was emotional. I was a little skeptical. I mean, particularly for the fact that Ryan Coogler is not back to direct a film. You know, it's this guy named Stephen Caples Jr. who directed The Land, which was getting a lot of critical praise in the past few years. I'm like, oh, all right, let's see, maybe. So watching the movie, you're like, oh, okay. It very quickly dispels my fears. It is a good continuation with the story. I mean, you follow Adonis Creed, Michael B. Jordan, as he gets the crown. You know, he gets the championship belt, he's sitting on top of the world. But then you see the opposite with Victor Creed over in Ukraine with his father Ivan, and they're living in squalor. They're like the Rockies of this story, trying to come up. And I really didn't expect them to go into the background of Dragos so deeply. You know, to be honest, I kind of think that this film should have been called, you know, Creed/Drago, because you're kind of seeing the opposite angle of how, you know, in the first one, it was about Creed going to Mexico and fighting and, you know, for whatever, you know, and this guy's over in the Ukraine fighting for peanuts himself, you know, and he's just dominating. And this film's main theme is about family and, of course, legacy as well. And one of the cool things about this is that, like, a villain from a previous film in the series, you really get a human examination of him and of his son, of his well-being. And you're just like, dang, you actually kind of feel for him. But on top of that, you get a further story with Creed, especially when they clash, and you're just like, wow, okay, this is deep. Arguably, Michael B. Jordan is getting a little bit more emotion to do in here. Like, he really goes through the ringer in this film. And the guy they have playing Victor Creed, Ivan Drago's son, he's good. He's definitely got the look of, like, just imposing, exactly like Dolph Lundgren in the fourth one. You know, they don't give him too much to work with, but you know what? There's this one part where he really shows great talent. I can't remember the actor's name. It's like Florian. I really can't pronounce his last name, but he brings it. And Dolph Lundgren brings it. I think this is probably the best thing that he's done in quite some years. I mean, acting wise, he says so much without really saying a lot, but when he does, you're just like, okay, you feel that relationship between him and his son, and their dynamic is really believable. On top of that, you have Felicia Rashad, who reprises a role as Adonis Creed's mother. They give her a lot more to do, and she is great. Of course, she's always been great. And the fight scenes are different, you know? I mean, like, they are more brutal, but they're kind of a little bit more standard. They're not as impressive as, like, the one fight scene that I mentioned earlier, but they are really impressive in their intensity, especially for a PG-13 movie. I mean, like, you felt the hits, you know, especially when Creed's fighting Drago. You're just like, oh my god, I feel that. And really intense, really put together. But there is some flaws with it, you know, like there's some points where the dialogue's kind of corny, and particularly there's this one portion, like right before the baby is born, where it kind of feels a little cheesy, but not like brain breakingly so, but it's just like, it's a little corny. But I will say this is a really good follow-up to a great film. I mean, the story is formulaic, but in a series like this, it's like, what else do you expect? To be honest, like do you really expect anything else? But it is drama-filled. It definitely keeps in with the first Creed, where it's just like it got that raw intensity to it. But it is solid. The music is solid, of course. It definitely has a great montage, of course. Gotta have that in the Rocky series. And on that note, Creed 2 gets a surprising...
Yes! That's awesome!
Yeah, man, I mean, like, this one I really didn't know how to feel. Like I said before, it's like, okay, really surprised me. And I actually wouldn't mind seeing a third one, but if they don't, I'd be very happy with that too. So anyway, YouTubers and Cinephiles, what did you think of Creed and Creed 2? I mean, were you expecting it to be as good? I mean, both. I mean, when you heard about it, did you think, like, why are they doing that? What's going on, YouTubers and Cinephiles? Let's talk about this. You take care. It for now, YouTubers and Cinephiles. If you like the content and you want to comment, like, share amongst your friends, but do me a favor and look below the video and click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can get more amazing content like you just witnessed today. Y'all take care, YouTubers and Cinephiles.